Hey guys, welcome back to Midlife Crisis. It's Aaron. Austin is not with me today. He's working his new job. Just a couple of updates before we get into today's build. We finished and sold van 2 that we were building, and we went ahead and subleased our shop to the next door neighbor cabinet guy. You might have seen in one of the videos, Montana's his name. It was Westwood Cabinets. So we're out of the shop. We're into our temporary housing for the next 6 months until the next portion of our adventure coming down the road here. And so everything worked out real well on that. In fact, the day we were moving out of the shop was the day the transport showed up to pick up van 2 and take it up to its new buyer up in Oregon. And we've been working with them, working out all the bugs. They did not come down and get it, so we had to kind of teach them over the phone all the uses of the van and things like that. So we've been working through all that with them and selling off basically all the equipment that we bought to build the vans before we go into our next adventure. So that kind of brings us up to speed on where we are. The next thing we're doing to the Tacoma here is we're going to go get KD Tune Pro Max, or Pro Max Tune, I think is what it's called. This is going to reprogram the ECU and the TCU, which is the transmission unit. Basically, because of our new gears, the 488 gears, we need to tell the computer that's what it's dealing with to help with shift points and things like that. All the throttle mapping, everything else is going to get reprogrammed. So I believe this is version 6 of their tune program. We're going to be meeting with Eddie, who is their authorized rep down here in Phoenix, and he's going to get us all sorted out. Right now, I'm on the freeway. I'm at about 2,300 RPMs. I'm doing 65 miles an hour. All right, 67. And my miles per gallon is 11.1 is what it's telling me. That sucks! 11.1 miles to the gallon. That just blows. Okay, 68. Slow down a little. So I'm hoping to get some better gas mileage. We're going to get a little bit more horsepower out of this. Not one of the other tunes that I was thinking about doing is apparently, after everything I've read about it, it's really rough on your engine. So I don't want to do that. That would have given us, another 40, 50 horsepower, but it will tear up the truck pretty fast. So we're going to go with the KD Tune, their Pro Max, whatever the hell they call it, and see what happens. So we're at 11.2 miles per gallon right now, 2,400 RPMs, 65 miles an hour. God, that just suck. That seems like really bad. Why is that? That's worse than I thought it would be. Anyway, what gear am I in? I was in 6th gear. I jumped up to 5th, now back down to 6th. A lot of the programming that's going to get done today too is going to deal with this thing searching for gears constantly, up and down. It drives me up the frickin' wall. Oh, hey, we got to get off the freeway. Whoa! 4-lane change. That was totally legal. Anyway, so we're going to get this done. Holy crap. Pay attention to where I'm going, apparently. And maybe on the drive home, we'll get a little bit better gas mileage. No promises. Can't be right. What am I missing here? Am I even on the right setting? Yeah? It's not. This is pathetic. Anyway, we'll get the mileage all mapped out here and figure out what's what, so we can give a honest representation of what we're doing here. So anyway, we're going to meet with him in a little bit, and we'll take it from there.
Hello, and welcome to Midlife Crisis. My name is Aaron, and I invite you to follow along with me and my son Austin on our journey as we build out a few camper vans and customize a new Toyota Tacoma into a beast. Then later in the year, we'll head out to Southeast Asia to ride a couple of adventure bikes through multiple countries, sharing the amazing experience with our viewers and ending our tour in Thailand. There, we will decide what to do next. Maybe buy a sailboat and sail around the world. Who knows? So please hit subscribe and follow us on this adventure.
Okay, so quick note before we get there. I was reading the wrong number. My average miles per gallon is 11.2 per tank. So apparently I drive a little hard on this thing, which I do, honestly. Most of my driving on this one is the city. We use the boys' Jeep Grand Cherokee to go to school now and put all the highway miles on that. So when I go to sell it, when my lease is done, it'll have a little bit more miles on that one instead of this one, which we've been using to drive to and from the shop. So, you know, I've already got 8,000 miles on it. Anyway, doing about 60 right now, just under 2,000 RPMs, and I'm at about 15 miles to the gallon. 16, yeah, right about, I would say 16 to 17, judging by the little thing that goes across the bottom. But yeah, tank average per tank is still at 11.2. So anyway, just wanted to clarify that before we get there, so that when we're on the way home, we can get a different reading, hopefully a better one. Okay, so we're out here in the parking lot. Eddie meets at 2 different locations every day and helps people program their Tacomas, their Tundras, their 4Runners, all that stuff. Anyway, so he's getting set up. He gave me a little bit of information. This is a version 9 of the Max Pro, and we are going to reprogram the ECU. We're going to reprogram the TCU, which is the transmission unit, and we're also going to fix the tire size from the vehicle and program it to recognize the 488 gears that we had put in. So with that said, Eddie's just getting set up in the truck here. I'll go ask him a few questions. Hey, Eddie.
What's up?
So this is how you do it, huh? You just plug it in.
Oh yeah, this is the whole setup.
You got your little program that, do we have to download or upgrade the unit itself here?
So I can do that as well. That's one of the things that I always like to provide right before we do the tuning. So
Okay.
it's in some cases it's almost like a double tune, because we get the TSB fixes that Toyota implemented on top of putting the tune on top of that.
Okay.
But either way, the best TSB always makes the best base for everything. Seeing as you already have a 22, the only TSB that I can think of would be for the crawl control and the overhead control unit. However, with the 22s, most of them have already been showing up in consumers' hands.
And your
with those
computer
updates.
will say that if what version it is and all that stuff.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That is super cool. Look at that. Just a little tiny computer.
Oh, I love that thing. My wife let me buy it because I broke my Surface Pro.
You don't have to have those big giant laptops and lug them around. So we'll basically just do an update, and then
Pretty much.
do we have to download the ECU programming and the TCU separate, or is it all one?
It's all in
program?
one. It can literally be done in about 60 seconds or so. So, of course, there's always some, extenuating circumstances like buildup on the battery, or just making sure that everything through the initial assessment that we did is, up to par. The last thing that we want to run into is something that's going to spike the voltage or drop it, or anything that might interfere with the communications otherwise. But honestly, it doesn't look like you have too much going on. The dual battery setup should provide more than enough power to make sure that we have a constant voltage throughout the whole flashing process. And then, like I said, you're already a 2022. I'm assuming that you probably have the newest TSB.
Okay.
But again, that's going to be something that pops up as soon as we click prepare on there, just
Okay.
to kind of show us, a overview of the system.
And then fixing the tire size and the new gear ratio. That's all part of data you have to put in.
Oh yeah, so the nice thing is I actually went ahead and I put together a little folder on my desktop right for you.
Oh.
So I
Look
already
at that.
prepped all
I'm
the files
special.
just going off of the data that you gave me. So the 285/70/17s, which is about a 32.8 tire, but we basically just round that up to 33, so it helps with the shift points as well.
Sure. Yeah.
And then the 488 gears, which will definitely accommodate on here as well.
Okay.
The nice thing that you probably won't really run into much with the 488 gears, but people that go 529s or higher, they generally have that new speed governor imposed at about 83 miles an hour.
Oh.
With the 488s, it's around 99, 100 miles an hour. I haven't even broken 100 in my own Tacoma, but my wife has. So
Neither have I.
But it's always good to just kind of free yourself of that limiter as well, just in the off chance.
That's probably why I only get 11.2 miles per the gallon on tank.
Oh, I feel it. I had a 6 mile per gallon drop as soon as I got my tires on there.
Oh yeah.
And then, do you have your key in here already?
I don't. It's in my
I'll
pocket
steal
here.
that from you. So a lot of it's just me turning it on and off.
Sure.
So let's see. First thing I want to do is just make sure that we're actually running well, no engine lights or anything like that. So go ahead and start it up. Let's see.
So one of the things I was talking to Eddie about too is that, you know, in one of the previous videos we put in the little pedal commander type unit. Ours is the cheaper version of it, but we will basically eliminate this with the new programming for the throttle response. So there's 3 throttle. Explain that again. How?
Yeah, so there's going to be 3 throttle responses with the KD Pro. We've got the Sport, we've got the Normal, and then we've got the Light. The Light's going to be a small bump over the stock throttle response. Obviously, it's going to be a faster response, but it's not going to to be overwhelming. Okay. The Normal is the most linear one. That's the one that I've run on my own truck for about the past
That's probably
8 months
what
or
I'm
so.
doing now. Is it's not the Sport, but it's not the Normal. It's the one in between. But
oh yeah.
So yours will probably be a little bit more than what I'm doing, but less than the Sport.
Oh yeah, and with the 488 gears, honestly, it makes all the difference, especially with the heavier tires. You know, you get your
heavy bumpers,
your takeoff power back, honestly.
Yep.
And then with the Sport, it's very fun.
Oh,
Like
yeah?
I said, it's very, very fun, but almost guaranteed after 1 or 2 weeks, I get a call back saying, "Hey, we got to bump that down." So nobody thinks
I'm burning
about the
my rubber
drivability
here.
and the slower speeds. So inclement weather, back-to-back bumper traffic, those kinds of things. A lot of people don't think about that when they take their test drive.
Well, with this on Sport, I can fry the tires real easy.
Mm-hmm.
It just takes off.
Oh,
I mean, it wants to
Absolutely.
lose tread.
And then, so let's see. I'm going to go ahead and assume that that's probably connected the same way that most pedal commanders are. And
It
it's
is.
up right in between the.
It is. I'm
harness
just going to
down
put it
there.
on normal, so
Okay.
it disengages it.
Oh, that's perfect.
So now everything you do should be normal.
And then, like I said, I usually just go through, make sure that everything that could be pulling electricity is basically turned off, just so we
Okay.
don't have any weird dips or spikes in the voltage. Go ahead and turn us off and put us into ignition on. So let's see. I know it's a really tiny screen, but
Yep.
That's the prompt for unlocking your VIN. We'll get to that right after I check everything else.
You'll be able to use that until you're about 40. Then you're going to start losing your eyesight, and you're
Oh,
going to
yeah.
have to get a big laptop.
It's nice because I can put it in my pocket and walk around my lot for my rental business, and people just think I'm playing video games, so they leave me alone. But it is hard on the eyes. I can't wait to get home every day and just run everything else off of my desktop and my monitor.
So you also do these for other types of vehicles, like the 4Runner and the Tundra.
Yeah, so we have
and
some
other stuff.
4Runner support. We've got some second-gen Tacoma support as well. We're working on Tundras. I believe really all we're waiting on is just for the platform that we use to kind of activate more maps for us to adjust. So there are a couple of vehicles like the second-gen Tacoma for the longest time. The tune for it was no better than a throttle controller, and so a lot of people were really hesitant to kind of offer that kind of thing.
Sure.
They've opened it up a lot more. They're opening it up even more with this 1.6 update that's coming out at the end of the month. So it's going to be exciting to see what we can develop out of that for other vehicles, because this is been long-standing the best way to tune a third-gen Tacoma.
Yeah.
But
How many of
everything
these
else
would you
is
say
kinda-
you do a week, as far as like Tacomas or 4Runners and all that?
I just started dipping into second gens and 4Runners, so I've done maybe 3 of those so far altogether, including my wife's uncle's Tacoma.
What's your biggest product you upgrade?
It's got to be the third gen Tacomas.
Yeah.
But I probably see it's a little slow during tax month, but generally I'll see 5 to 10 a week.
Okay.
But yeah, so like I said, kind of just going through that little assessment there, your voltage is showing at a 12.8, which is more than sufficient enough. I don't think that we'll need to connect a battery tender, but I always like to double check twice. So we'll go ahead and cycle it and then just kind of do this whole thing again. Like I thought, you are on the newest TSB update from Toyota, so there's nothing that we really have to update there.
Okay.
And that update was just for that overhead control panel. The crawl control and the SOS button there just weren't engaging properly and weren't functioning the way that they were intended to. Wasn't a big update. I had to do it on my own truck, but yours already came with it. So makes everything a lot easier. So we'll go ahead and cancel out of that, cycle everything, and back to ignition on, and then we'll just check it one more time because I want to make sure that there's nothing crazy happening with the battery. We're still at a 12.6 volt, which is great. There's really not too much fluctuation there. So again, this little prompt that pops up is basically to unlock the VIN of your vehicle. So if anybody that happens to connect to your truck in the future that has the VF Tuner software, they don't have to pay to unlock this vehicle again.
Okay.
Go ahead and do that.
So what happens to the original programming that's in there?
So it's basically just overwritten. The same way that we make the tunes, the file comes back and it's a whole complete stock calibration, and we really just adjust the parameters on there to make the tunes that we make. So it basically just completely overwrites that with the settings that we've already adjusted.
Okay.
Some of those things are going to be with the adaptive cruise control. The radar does not currently have any ability to use the tuned maps. It's for liability reasons. The last
Sure.
thing that we want to do, and even if we had access to it, is change one value in there and the radar think that 5 feet is 50 feet or vice versa.
Yep.
So the adaptive cruise control will just default to the stock mappings when you're driving, but if you hold that button down for about 3 seconds, you'll see the cluster change over to constant speed, and that's that old school dummy cruise control, but that will utilize the tuned maps.
Okay.
And then, let's see, so
you have already programmed in what you're going to be loading,
oh yeah,
knowing what I was coming with the 488 gears and the bigger tires.
oh yeah, I
So
like to
that's-
be prepared.
So that's already in your deal. We don't have to mess with that.
Yes, sir. So, like we said, we'll kind of just go with the middle one, and then I'll send you off on a test drive, and we can kind of adjust from there.
Okay.
I'm sure you saw all those files on there. All of those I made for you, or we, organized just to, accommodate your build. So there's a whole bunch of different options here as well. So after that first test drive, when you kind of get the feel of everything that's going on with the new version, or with the new tune, the new feeling in the pedal, even the shift points and everything like that, we can kind of go up or down with
Okay.
sensitivity or other adjustments afterwards. But it's
So,
a super
mine's-
quick
Mine's about the
process.
same process. Same tire size and all that stuff as yours.
Mhm.
So do we have your shifting points? It's just aggravating as hell when it's going up and down and up and down constantly. It just
Yeah.
drives you nuts. So what changes in that? How
So what
does that-
changes in that is basically, we hold certain gears longer that need to be held longer. You're not going to be on the freeway going, 60 or 70 miles an hour and dropping into third gear and just screaming like a banshee up the road. Instead, you're going to find yourself in your fourth or your fifth gear. There's a gradual drop instead of that double drop down from, fifth to third or sixth to fourth.
Okay.
It's a lot smoother when it comes to that.
Cool.
The other thing that a
Holds
lot of
gears
people don't
longer,
see
you
is,
said?
a
Oh,
lot
that's
of
good.
things, or a lot of the feedback that we get is, people will actually be coasting along in their sixth gear as opposed to previously where, your truck's always struggling to find what gear it wants to be in. And so it stays in fourth or fifth and you never see your sixth gear.
Yeah. Yep.
With this, I very comfortably cruise in sixth gear around just 75, 80 miles an hour on the freeway.
Perfect.
But with all those optimizations, obviously there's a very large window of opportunity to have better fuel efficiency. So it kind of does come down to each individual driver, but the processes and just the way that everything's optimized there allows for
Sure.
the better fuel
So
efficiency.
if you're not driving like a bat out of hell or like you stole the vehicle, then you're probably going to get a little bit better gas mileage.
Oh yeah, when I was on fully stock, I was getting about 20 to 22 miles per gallon. Getting those tires on there and everything else now, I'm at about 14, 15, which kind of sucks, but I'll re-gear and we'll handle that later.
Yeah.
So we're already done right there. We'll go ahead and just cycle it off and start it up.
One of the other things I was going to ask you too is horsepower gains. I noticed on the website some people will see anywhere around a 20 horsepower maybe.
Yeah.
Depending on. Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be about a 20 horsepower gain. Really, a lot of people kind of base that number off of a butt dyno. We did do dyno tests on a lot of the tunes that we do have, but I will say that the initial versions of KD, they were a lot more powerful, but they were not as smooth. And this one kind of takes it down a notch, but providing a better drivability, more linear, feel in the pedal. But the new Pro, while not as aggressive as the previous versions, it's just so much more controllable and just makes drivability so much better.
Perfect. Okay.
Let's go ahead and do that. Looks like everything's good.
So that was it, huh?
That is it.
All
And
right.
so you said in
It's on normal.
that right there, that's basically disengaged?
Yep.
Okay.
So normal is just complete bypass.
Okay, that's perfect. Yeah, so usually if there's anything in the way, like, a pedal commander or any other throttle controller, a lot of people don't know how to disengage them. I'll be honest, I don't have a lot of experience with those other than when I know what they do, so I don't know how to disengage them, but that way basically allow a pass-through signal. So it always pops up a little red flag if something isn't cohesive, but we didn't run
And
into that.
that'll be easy to take off if
Oh, yeah.
what you have is the same thing. So
Oh,
why,
yeah.
why have both things?
Absolutely. So I'll go ahead and send you off on a test drive.
Oh, okay.
One of the nice things that I like, and the reason that I choose this location, is that we get a little bit of a taste of all different driving experiences. So there is some construction going east to west right here, as well as there's a lot of school kids going to and getting picked up right now at the school that's a quarter mile
So
away.
you want me to jump on the freeway too?
Either way, the
Okay.
freeway is also right there.
Yep.
And then if you happen to go north to south right here, we're gonna have 3 lanes pretty much wide open. But it kind of gives you that taste of the slower traffic as well as the quicker traffic.
Okay.
Because the last thing that you want to do, like I was saying before, is find yourself in inclement weather or off-roading or somewhere in a slower pace, back-to-back traffic, and that pedal is just too touchy, so you start jumping forward, or you can't control it as well. But that's the other reason why I always don't recommend the Sport, but I always recommend the normal.
Okay.
So yeah, you can take as long as you want with your test drive, and then when you get back here, we can kind of discuss and figure out where we want to adjust things from here.
Okay, sounds good. We're gonna go test drive.
We're out here in traffic. The pedal commander like product that we installed in a previous video, link down below, is off and in normal position, which means it's bypassing the electronic unit that normally would program the throttle to activate a lot quicker. So that is basically turned off, and we were just using the program that Eddie just installed in the truck. So we'll see how that responds. I can already tell it's jumpier. So it's probably about where I have it, because I'm not on race mode when I have the programmer, the throttle commander type thing. I'm on the first step up. The next step up is race, and then or sport, and then the next step up from that is race, which I never use because I just burn through rubber. Not that I do that often. Anyway, so in just driving it, no real difference. I mean, I'm doing 50 down a 45 mile an hour street. As far as get up and go, I've got too many cars in front of me to test that. And there's a cop car. That's on him. So we'll hang on here. We'll see how we can throttle off the intersection. But it feels pretty much identical to what I was just on coming out to see Eddie. So no big difference there. It's on normal. In fact, I'm just gonna unplug it. Okay, so it's unplugged, which means it's just passing through now. Yeah, that feels like the version I've had it on. But let's test the old giddy up and go. Make sure that's the cops. There, drop 2 gears. That's perfectly legal. I don't know. I mean, it kind of feels like the setting I had it on. But now, it had us in 5th gear doing 40. So that's probably part of the economy that it helps build. So there, it dropped back to 5th again. So it drops to 5th. Oh my God, that's 6th. No, 5th. Okay. I'm just toggling my my shifter down here to show my gear, because otherwise, when you're in drive mode, it won't show you what gear you're in. It just is in drive. Let's flip a UE here real quick. For it. Good shifting. Okay, 70 miles an hour and 40. Shh. Next video is brakes. We need some brakes to stop this pig. Just in the crosswalk. Yeah, we're going to be doing the brakes here pretty soon. Yeah, that's nice. I don't know if I want to bump it up to the higher setting, because that might just be too much throttle, and I'm going to defeat the purpose of saving gas, kind of like what I just did. Now my average tank has dropped down to 11.1. Damn it. I have to stay off the throttle. Bad dad. Bad dad. Yeah, that's nice. It's really nice, smooth flow taken off. There's third at 45. There's fourth at 50. So I think that's probably the setting. And I like that it knows my tire size, so it's giving me the proper miles per hour now that we have the bigger tires. Because before it was showing that we were doing less speed than we actually were. I know that because I drove by some of those radar signs that they put on the side of the road that tell you your speed. So I would constantly go by this one back and forth to test it out. So I would make sure I was doing exactly 50 miles an hour. And then I would look up at the camera and it said I'm doing 56. I was like, shit, 6 miles over. And the slower you go, the less over it goes. Obviously, it's a percentage of your speed. So because of the ratio of the tires. Anyway, so now I'm going to go drive by that thing again and see what it says. Should be right now. So he reprogrammed it for the proper tire size, the proper gears, all that stuff. That was cool. Came to the appointment prepared. I like that. I like that in a guy. So I think I'm good on the setting. See, right when you hit the throttle, it immediately kicks in. I love that. Back in the stock version, oh my God. And you guys know, if you've got a Tacoma or a 4Runner, you know what I'm talking about. It's like you are on the throttle and wait, 1, 2, 3. There it is. There it goes. It starts moving. I hated that. And I know they have to do it because of fuel economy and all the other garbage that goes with it. But that's much better. I think I'm okay with this setting. But that's about it. I just got to go back and talk with Eddie and see if there's anything else I need to know or you need to know. Get the man paid. Get home. So yeah, well, I'll get back to you once I'm done with Eddie, and I'll kind of bring you up to speed on everything we've spent on the vehicle so far. And we'll wrap up the video then on the freeway with whatever gas mileage I'm getting in comparison to what I was getting coming here. So stay tuned. Okay guys, just got done with Eddie. We hung out and talked a little bit about Tacomas. He's got one too. I don't know if that came through in the video, but he was parked a couple spaces over. He's got a lift on his, all that good stuff. And just talked about what a money pit these trucks are. Spitting while I talk there. So as far as throttle response goes, it's the same as the setting I was using on my little throttle command type unit that we did in a previous video. And as far as gas mileage, we're doing 70 right now, and I'm showing about 18, so not bad. But he told me that it has some learning to do, and it'll actually learn with different types of fuel as well. So my next full tank, I'm going to do 89 octane, even though gas prices are just freaking ridiculous. We'll see if that has any difference as well. But yeah, so we're all set for the gears, all set for the big tires. We'll see how it goes over time and if I have anything to add to it. Now, having said all that, Eddie charges for the full-on deal $400. So if anybody wants to get this done in the Phoenix metropolitan area, I think there's a separate guy for Tucson. But if you're in the Phoenix area and you want to get your Tacoma, your Tundra, your 4Runner, you want to get it jacked up a little bit on performance, I'll leave Eddie's information in the link below so you can get a hold of him and work out a deal. He does tunes in Tucson in Phoenix during the morning, and then he comes out to the East Valley around Gilbert Road and Southern for the afternoons. So that was $400. That puts our running total now at $16,100 roughly. Our next project will be the front rotors and brakes. We're going to upgrade those significantly to stop this tank a little faster than the stock wheels or stock brakes. So that'll be our next upcoming video. And I'm going to do a video where I walk around. I don't know if we'll do it before that or after that, but we're going to do a walk around and we're going to detail each upgrade that we did and the cost associated with that, just so you know what you're getting into when you want to start down this road of the money pit, kind of what you're getting into. So we'll do that and detail each and everything that we did, kind of a whole run around wrap up video on all the upgrades thus far, because there's more to come. Gotta spend more money. Anyway, yeah, so we're at 16,100 on all the videos that you've seen, including this one. That's where we stand. I don't know what else I can add to the video. I'm stuck in traffic right now, so I really can't do any performance stuff. But as you saw, we did a little bit there. Oh God, this guy just now figuring you need to get out of the lane. So in any case, I just got off on the wrong exit. So on that note, I have to go find a way to turn around. Should be paying attention instead of talking to you. Anyway, I hope you got some benefit out of this. If you did, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell when the next one comes on. And we'll see you on the next video, guys. Thanks for watching.